This is the craziest thing about remote work right now. Some of the highest paying remote jobs don't actually require any fancy tech skills. In fact, I recently discovered jobs that are paying $70,000 plus for roles that only need basic computer knowledge. The catch? Most people completely overlook these opportunities because they seem too basic or too boring. And while everyone is rushing to learn coding and artificial intelligence, there's this massive demand for people with just basic computer skills, as long as you're okay with a boring job. And I'm talking about jobs that literally only require you to know how to use a keyboard, mouse, and maybe a few simple programs. And the best part is many of these positions are paying more now than ever before. And in this video, I'm going to show you 9 high demand remote jobs that you can get with basic computer skills. Before we dive in, make sure to gently tap that like button to help defeat the evil YouTube algorithm, because trust me, by the end of this video, you'll realize that your basic computer skills might be worth way more than you think. Now for the first one on the list, Excel specialist. Now, you want to know the secret superpower of the corporate world? It's not wearing a suit, it's knowing how to wrangle spreadsheets. And let me tell you something crazy. Companies are willing to pay top dollar for people who can turn their Excel nightmares into beautiful automated dreams. And an Excel specialist is essentially a spreadsheet wizard who helps companies organize, analyze, and make sense of their data. And you're the person who turns chaos into clarity with a few clever formulas. So it's kind of like being a master chef, but instead of ingredients, you're combining functions and formulas to create something that makes everyone's life easier. And the salary range here is pretty sweet, about $55,000 to $89,000 per year, with a median of $70K. Not bad for working with rows and columns, right? And there's one Excel specialist who shared on Reddit that he was able to increase his salary by $80K in only a few years by optimizing reporting processes that save companies hundreds of thousands of labor hours. So required skills here, of course, include Excel functions, basic data analysis, and attention to detail. And most importantly, you basically just need problem-solving skills. So you don't really need any advanced computer skills doing this one. You just need to learn Excel and start giving service and learn and master more along the way. And these positions are everywhere. LinkedIn, Indeed, Robert Half, and company websites. Every industry needs Excel experts. For instance, LinkedIn has about 31,000 open opportunities for Excel experts or positions that are similar to it. So yeah, opportunity score here is an absolute no-brainer. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Universal demand, great remote opportunities, and skills that will always be valuable in business. Now, quick note here is if you wanna learn more about Excel, you can do it with Coursera. I know traditional courses can cost thousands, but Coursera's Excel skills for business specialization is a game changer. You get a legit certification from a respected university, hands-on projects, and real-world case studies for much less. And I've dropped the link in the description in the pinned comment below to get started. Plus, I have a bunch of other suggestions depending on what type of career you want to get into. And I have a curated list of different certificates and trainings that I think are really good. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below too. All right, data entry clerk. Want to get paid to be a professional copy paster? Well, this one might be perfect for all you keyboard warriors out there. A data entry clerk basically takes information from one place and organizes it neatly in another. So you can think of it like being a Marie Kondo for spreadsheets, bringing order to chaos, one cell at a time. And according to Glassdoor, data entry clerks make between $34,000 and $47,000 a year. Now, one data entry pro on Reddit shared 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, same slip, different name. It's very boring work, which is why it pays better than average. It's not rewarding, it's not fun, it's just mind-numbing tedium. I love how refreshingly honest they are there, but sometimes the mind-numbing work is where the steady, stable income can come in. Now, required skills here are basic computer literacy, fast and accurate typing, attention to detail, and the ability to sit still for long periods without losing your mind. And the good news is there are over 33,000 data entry jobs currently listed on LinkedIn alone. So yeah, super boring, and for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, but there's high demand, low barrier to entry, can be monotonous, and it's perfect for podcast listeners and audiobook enthusiasts who can multitask. All right, next is an ad sales associate. Now, you ever wanted to get paid for your persuasion skills? Well, meet the job that turns smooth talking into smooth earnings. Ad sales associates are essentially matchmakers, connecting businesses who want attention with platforms that have audience eyeballs. And it's kind of like being a real estate agent, but instead of selling houses, you're selling digital real estate in the form of ad space. Now, you might be thinking, Shane, that's a little bit harder to get into, and it's true, it is harder to get into. However, there are a lot of lower level positions that make pretty good money too. And this Redditor said that advertising is essentially a commodity now. It's all about attribution, showing clients exactly what ROI they're getting. And you get to be creative, and selling the sizzle is sometimes more important than the steak. Now, the required skills, strong communication, basic understanding of digital marketing, negotiating skills, and the ability to handle rejection like a champ. And with over 66,000 positions on LinkedIn, the opportunity opportunities are abundant. So overall, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 8 out of 10. I think there's high income potential, there's lots of remote positions, but it does require thick skin and sales acumen. All right, next is customer service representative. And if you think you have the patience of a saint and the problem-solving skills of a MacGyver, then welcome to the front lines of remote work, because this is one of the most common jobs out there, but it is super, super easy to land, especially if you were born with the privilege of having an American accent. Yeah, seriously, that's pretty much all you need to get paid a pretty good amount of money. Oh, and you also need a little bit of thick skin too. But you make about $36,000 to $51,000 a year. Now, a former stylist turned CSR shared on YouTube that some days it's energy draining, but it's a perfect job while studying since she can leave work at work. And she does absolutely love seeing the difference that she can make in someone's day. So yeah, there's over 127,000 open positions on LinkedIn. This field is absolutely booming. And there's so many things that AI can do, but giving a good customer experience is just not one of them, right? So this is one of those things where I really do think it's going to be safe. I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 8.5 out of 10. Next is a listing specialist, and this one is in the real estate industry. Let me introduce you to a job that puts you in control of the listing game. A listing specialist is essentially the quarterback of real estate listings, coordinating property details, photos, and marketing to get homes sold. And you can think of it like being a wedding planner, but for houses instead of couples. And you're making sure that everything looks perfect before the big debut. And according to Glassdoor, listing specialists earn between $41,000 and $67,000 per year, with a median of $52,000 plus commission potential. Now, one real estate pro on Reddit shared, listing agents can control more of the process and don't have to work as hard in theory. Most of the work I do on a listing is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And most of the work with the buyer is often nights and weekends, which can be somewhat rare in the real estate industry where a lot of people work pretty much 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the skills needed here are organization skills, attention to detail, basic photography understanding, and solid communication abilities. And with over 29,000 positions on LinkedIn, the opportunities are plentiful. So yeah, this one's great. Real estate is probably the biggest industry out there. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 opportunity score. And by the way, which of these remote jobs interest you? Or which ones do you think I should have mentioned? Drop a comment below and let me know. Love hearing your thoughts, and I try to respond to as many comments as I can, and there's a good chance I'll include it in the next video if it's a good one. All right, sales development representative. This is one of my all-time favorite careers. I have talked about this career for years on this channel, and SDR is kind of like a treasure hunter for qualified leads. You're typically working with a B2B business, so you are working with a business that serves other businesses, and you're panning through prospects to find golden opportunities. So it's kind of like being a matchmaker between potential customers and your company's products, minus the romance plus the commission. And literally just closing one account in some cases can be worth millions of dollars, and you get a cut of that. So you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars from one account, which is crazy to think about. And SDRs make between $65,000 and $102,000 annually with a median of 80K. So that's the average, but you can make much, much more than that. For instance, I interviewed Antoine on my channel, who makes over $500,000 a year as a B2B salesperson in tech. And he started off as an SDR. Now, the required skills, resilience of a superhero, the research abilities of a detective, and the persistence of a toddler asking why, or are we there yet? And LinkedIn shows over 32,000 SDR positions currently available. So they're still hiring like crazy. I'm gonna give this one a 9.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Absolutely love it. And by the way, if you guys are wondering like, okay, there's all these great jobs, you know, I'm even talking about the companies sometimes or where to go to get hired, but how do I actually land the job? Well, I created a free cheat sheet called the Ultimate Remote Job Interview Cheat Sheet that covers exactly what hiring managers are looking for. And you can grab it by using the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Next is a follow-up specialist. And this is for you if you've ever wanted to be paid to be professionally persistent. And this is the role that turns checking in into a career. A follow-up specialist is basically a professional momentum keeper, making sure nothing falls through the cracks between the first contact and the final sale. And it's like being a tennis player in a never-ending rally, keeping the ball in play until you score the point. And if you look at Glassdoor, follow-up specialists earn between $44,000 and $66,000 a year with a median of $53,000. So this is another sales-related position. It's a very specific sales-related position. It's basically the job of keeping warm leads warm. And you should have skills like excellent organization, stellar communication, ninja-level follow-through, and the ability to stay cheerful after the 100th just checking in email. And there's over 31,000 positions listed on LinkedIn, so the demand is very strong. So yeah, this one's really solid. I'm gonna gonna go ahead and give it an opportunity score of 8 out of 10. Next is a pay-per-click specialist. And if you've ever wondered how some people make a living just by getting others to click buttons, well, grab your coffee because this one's a game changer. And by the way, I've interviewed a bunch of people on this channel that have basically gotten into this because this is a type of digital marketing career. There's literally a 16-year-old that was able to get a job doing just this, pay-per-click essentially. And I also have a free masterclass that shows exactly how he did that, which I'll put down in the description and the pinned comment below. It's hosted by Seth, who has helped thousands of people get jobs in digital marketing. So definitely check it out. But yeah, pay-per-click specialist is basically like a digital traffic cop who directs paid advertising campaigns onto platforms like Google and Facebook. And you're the person who makes sure companies aren't throwing their money into the digital void. So think of it like being a poker player, but instead of gambling with cards, you're strategically placing bets on which ads will catch people's attention and bring in customers. An entry-level pay-per-click specialist typically make between $48,000 and $79,000 per year, with a median of $61,000. But here's the thing, with experience and results, you can push that well into the six-figure level. Plus, this is one of the best careers to start freelancing or even start your own business. And the basic skills you need? A good understanding of Excel, analytical thinking, and basic marketing concepts. And most companies will train you on the specific platforms that they use. LinkedIn alone has 29,000 open opportunities right now. And the opportunity score here is 8 out of 10. There's high demand, great pay, and you can learn most of it online. Plus, companies are increasingly moving their advertising budgets to digital. And next is an inside sales representative. So what if I told you there's a job where talking to people and helping them solve problems could earn you 6 figures, all from your home office? Well, that's the world of inside sales, and it has completely transformed in the last few decades. And companies are now hiring remote sales representatives like never before. An inside sales rep is like a digital age salesperson who builds relationships and closes deals entirely through phone calls, emails, and video chats. No more driving around with a briefcase full of samples. And the numbers are impressive. You can make $63,000 to $102,000 a year. Plus, most of the positions offer commission structures that can significantly boost your earnings. And here's a real success story from Reddit. SaaS sales from home service industry work remotely as an enterprise AM. Made $143K in just 5 months, including 3 months of maternity leave. Very solid. So yeah, you need good communication skills, good sales skills, basic CRM knowledge, and the ability to understand your product. And most importantly, you need resilience and a positive attitude. And LinkedIn has over 66,000 open jobs right now, so you might want to look into that. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 9 out of 10. Huge demand, potential for high earnings, and the remote sales trend is here to stay. Now, by the way, check out the video that I did that got nearly 2 million views in a single month because people loved it so much on boring but realistic careers that you can get into where you can work remote jobs. And you can check that out by clicking right here.